New York City pulsed under a stormy August sky, its neon lights flickering in the humid air as Peter Parker, aka SpiderMan, swung through Manhattan's concrete jungle, his web shooters thwipping rhythmically. His spider sense buzzed faintly, a nagging itch he chalked up to nerves or the 3 cups of coffee he'd downed earlier. "Aunt May's gonna kill me if I miss dinner again," he muttered, landing on a rooftop overlooking Times Square, where tourists and taxis created their usual chaos. The buzz sharpened, stabbing his skull, and a low rumble shook the ground, silencing the city's hum. A violet portal crackling with dark energy tore open in Times Square's heart, and screams erupted as civilians fled from shadowy humanoid figures spilling out, their inky forms writhing like living smoke. A towering figure emerged, Umbrach, Herald of the Void, clad in jagged obsidian armor pulsing with violet light, his featureless face bearing only glowing white eyes. "This world will kneel to the Shadow Collective," he boomed, his voice a chilling chorus of whispers as he blasted a taxi skyward with a wave of dark energy. "Whoa, buddy, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen," Spider-Man quipped, webbing the taxi to lower it safely before flipping onto a lamppost. He launched himself at Umbrach, landing a spinning kick that barely dented the armor, only to be swatted into a billboard by a tendril of dark energy. "Our note to self, don't punch the void monster," he groaned, peeling himself off. His comms crackled with Tony Stark's sarcastic drawl. "Spidey picking fights with cosmic entities again?" "Iron Man, what, you got a tracker on me?" Spider-Man dodged another tendril, webbing it to a streetlight. "Friday detected a rift in your backyard. I'm en route with backup." A Quinjet roared overhead and Iron Man blasted onto the scene, repulsors blazing, followed by Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, her fists glowing with photon energy, Black Panther, T'Challa, his vibranium suit gleaming, and Doctor Strange, his cloak of levitation billowing. "Nice of you to crash my party," Spider-Man called, webbing a shadow creature to a wall. Strange's eyes glowed as he scanned the portal. "This is tied to the void dimension. If we don't close it, Umbrach will unleash an army." T'Challa's HUD analyzed Umbrach's armor, revealing a central core in his chest as a potential weak point, while Carol noted the Herald's ability to absorb energy attacks. Strange began chanting, his hands weaving golden runes to collapse the portal, but warned he'd need time and protection. "Guess I'm on distraction duty," Spider-Man said, swinging toward Umbrach. "Hey, Voidface, your armor's so last season." He fired webs to bind Umbrach's arms, dodging tendrils with his agility, while Iron Man and T'Challa coordinated physical strikes, and Carol protected Strange. The shadow creatures multiplied, attacking civilians, and Spider-Man's spider sense screamed as he webbed them into bundles, clearing escape routes. Umbrach charged toward Strange, but Spider-Man created a massive web net, slowing him. The portal flickered, but Strange's spell faltered under the strain, and Spider-Man realized this fight was only beginning, with the city's fate, and maybe the world's, hanging in the balance as the heroes scrambled to hold the line against an enemy that seemed to grow stronger with every blow. Spider-Man swung circles around Umbrach, his taunts echoing through Times Square as he fired webs to bind the Herald's limbs, buying time for his team. "Come on, Umbrach, ever try smiling? You'd be less creepy." The Herald roared, tearing through the webbing, his tendrils lashing out. But Spider-Man's agility kept him one step ahead, flipping onto a building's facade to dodge a shockwave that shattered windows and sent debris flying. Iron Man deployed micro-drones to harry the shadow creatures, their inky forms swarming civilians, while T'Challa's vibranium claws slashed through their ranks, his suit's kinetic pulse blasting them back. Carol hovered near Strange, her photon blasts scattering creatures that got too close, but Umbrach's core absorbed her energy, making him larger and more menacing. "Tony, any bright ideas?" Spider-Man called, webbing a creature to a lamppost. "Friday's got a lock on that core," Iron Man replied, firing a vibranium-enhanced missile at Umbrach's chest, while T'Challa leapt onto the Herald's back, his claws digging into the armor's seams. The core flickered, but Umbrach retaliated with a dark energy pulse, sending Iron Man and T'Challa crashing into a storefront. Spider-Man webbed their fall, cushioning the impact. "You guys okay?" he asked, swinging back into the fray. "Peachy," Tony groaned, his armor sparking. Strange's voice cut through the comms. "The portal's resisting, something's powering it from the other side." Spider-Man's mind raced as he taunted Umbrach, keeping him distracted. "Hey, big guy, ever consider therapy? You've got void issues." The Herald charged, his tendrils grazing Spider-Man's suit, tearing the fabric. A new voice crackled through the comms, Wolverine, Logan, gruff and ready.
Spidey, you still alive? Logan?
You smelled the fight from Canada? Spider-Man quipped, dodging another blow. Wolverine leapt from a rooftop, his adamantium claws gleaming as he slashed at Umbrak's legs, leaving gashes in the armor. The Herald swatted him away, but Logan's healing factor had him back in seconds. Spider-Man and Wolverine worked in tandem, webs and claws slowing Umbrach while Iron Man and T'Challa targeted the core again. Carol protected Strange, who was sweating, his runes faltering as the portal spat out larger, more aggressive shadow creatures. Spider-Man's spider sense blared as one lunged at him, its claws nearly catching him. "Okay, that's new," he muttered, webbing it to a wall. Strange warned of a greater power behind Umbrach, and Spider-Man coordinated a new plan. "I keep Ugly busy," Tony and T'Challa hit the core. Carol and Logan guard Strange. The heroes moved as one, but Umbrach unleashed a massive energy wave, knocking them back and cratering the street. Spider-Man caught himself with a web, his body aching but his resolve unbroken, knowing they had to destroy the core to stop the invasion before the void dimensions swallowed New York whole. The battle raged in Times Square, now a war zone of shattered glass and twisted metal, as Spider-Man swung relentlessly around Umbrach, his webs binding the Herald's limbs while he hurled quips to keep him off balance. "Ever try stand-up, Umbrach? You'd bomb, but at least you'd be less destructive." The Herald's tendrils tore through the webbing, one grazing Spider-Man's side, drawing blood, but he gritted his teeth and kept moving, his spider sense guiding his dodges. Iron Man and T'Challa regrouped, Tony's repulsors and T'Challa's claws hammering the core, which cracked further, violet light spilling out. Wolverine carved through the shadow creatures, his claws a blur as he protected civilians, while Carol shielded Strange, her fists glowing as she blasted the larger creatures emerging from the shrinking portal. Strange's hands trembled, his spell nearing completion, but the portal's energy surged, powered by an unseen force in the void dimension. "Something's fighting back," Strange shouted, his voice strained. Spider-Man's mind raced. He webbed Umbrach's face, slowing his charge toward Strange, but the Herald broke free, his core pulsing brighter as he absorbed the portal's energy. "Tony, hit it with everything," Spider-Man called, swinging to distract Umbrach. Iron Man deployed a new weapon, a vibranium-charged unibeam, courtesy of Wakandan tech, while T'Challa leapt onto Umbrach's back, driving his claws into the core's cracks. The impact shattered the core, and Umbrach screamed, his form flickering as violet mist poured out. The portal wavered, shrinking to a pinpoint, but Umbrach unleashed a final desperate pulse, knocking the heroes back. Spider-Man webbed a falling civilian to safety, his body screaming in pain, then swung to Carol's side. "Keep Strange safe," he urged, firing every web shooter to create a massive net around Umbrach. Wolverine slashed at the Herald's legs, giving Tony and T'Challa another shot. The core exploded in a burst of light and Umbrach's armor dissolved, his scream echoing as he vanished into mist. Strange roared the final incantation, collapsing the portal with a deafening crack, and the shadow creatures disintegrated, leaving Times Square silent except for the cheers of civilians emerging from hiding. The heroes collapsed, battered and exhausted but victorious. Spider-Man panted, sitting on a wrecked car. "So pizza, I'm broke, but I'm starving." Tony chuckled, his armor retracting while T'Challa nodded in respect, and Carol ruffled Spider-Man's hair through his mask. Strange, pale but alert, warned, "Umbrach was a herald. Something greater is coming." Spider-Man groaned. "A sequel? Really?" But his spider sense hummed faintly, a reminder that their victory was temporary, and the void's shadow loomed larger than ever. The heroes stood amidst Times Square's wreckage, the city's pulse returning as civilians cheered their saviors, but Spider-Man's spider sense still buzzed, a faint warning of lingering danger. He swung to a rooftop, catching his breath, his torn suit clinging to his bruised body as he surveyed the damage. Cratered streets, shattered billboards, and the faint violet glow fading from where the portal had been. Iron Man's armor sparked as he retracted it, his voice weary but warm. "Nice work, kid. You held your own." T'Challa, his vibranium suit scuffed but intact, nodded. "Your courage is unmatched, Peter." Carol smirked, ruffling his hair again. "Not bad for a webhead." Wolverine, lighting a cigar, grunted. "Don't let it go to your head, bub." Strange approached, his face drawn, his cloak of levitation tattered. "The void dimension is sealed, but Umbrach was a pawn. The Shadow Collective's true master stirs. and Earth is its target. Spider-Man sighed. Can't we get one happy ending? The heroes shared a tired laugh, but their eyes scanned the sky, wary of what might come next. Spider-Man swung back to his apartment, collapsing onto his couch, his phone buzzing with a text from Aunt May, asking if he'd make dinner. He smiled, typing a reply, but the weight of Strange's warning lingered. Something darker was coming, and he'd need to be ready. The city was safe for now, its lights flickering back to life, but the air felt heavy, as if the void's gaze hadn't fully lifted. Spider-Man patched his suit, his mind racing with quips and worries. Knowing his role as New York's protector meant facing whatever the multiverse threw at him next. In the depths of the void dimension, a formless entity stirred, its countless eyes fixed on Earth, whispering of a war yet to come, one that would test Spider-Man and his allies beyond anything they'd faced before. Peter didn't know it yet, but the web of chaos was only beginning to unravel, and he'd be at its heart, swinging into the unknown with nothing but his wits, his webs, and a stubborn refusal to give up.